Hey, hello, everyone. Welcome to what is basically going to be like, it's kind of like a little interview show, kind of like a podcast, kind of like whatever, I don't know, but we're basically playing games and just chatting while we play games. Today, I am going to be joined by Bordie, who, if
Hello.
you have...
Is that my cue?
Yeah,
Hi.
sure. If you've watched much of my channel in the past or any of my friends' channels, you probably know who Bordie is, and that's great. Yeah, if you don't know who she is, she's a YouTuber. She kind of came up with me, and yeah, me and her were like, I don't know, we did the YouTube grind together back when I was actually doing the YouTube grind properly. But yeah, I thought we could just do some surf. This was her request to do surf. So if you watch me be terrible at surf and say, why did Toby choose surf, then that's why. But we're going to do some surfing and yeah, just talk about Bordie's life and such. And also my life in some ways, you know? Because it's boring if I'm just asking you stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, when did you, let's just start with like an origin story, I guess. Like, when did you start YouTube? Do you remember what year it was?
Yeah, I literally started YouTube when I met you and Fitz.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It was crazy. So like, what was that, 2016, 2017?
Probably, yeah. So what I was going to ask to follow that up was meeting Fitz and I the reason you started YouTube? Or like, was it part of it?
I think I was uploading like little like Overwatch clips before I even met Fitz. I actually met Fitz through Overwatch in a ranked game.
I was going to say, actually, was it Overwatch that we met? That's crazy.
Yeah, I met Fitz in an Overwatch game, and then he invited me to come play CS.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was like, I actually enrolled to do vet nursing, and the week that I met him.
Yeah.
And I got really sick, and then Fitz released his video of me in it, and then I kind of just started blowing up, and I was like, maybe this is a sign to like give this a go.
Yeah, wholesome.
Like, this is something I've always wanted to do. So I quickly unenrolled in vet nursing.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I've been doing this ever since.
Do you think you would have gone down this path if you weren't sick at that time?
No.
Yeah. So it's almost like a blessing in disguise, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
100%.
Do you think you would ever, like, was vet nursing something that you really wanted to do, or was it just something that, like, piqued your interest in the moment?
I tried for a really long time to figure out what the fuck I wanted to do with my life.
Oh, it's impossible.
And the only thing that, like, made me happy was being around animals. And I did study I studied animal studies for a year.
Okay.
And I probably should have taken that as a sign that I wasn't going to do well in it. But I wanted to try it. Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, that's such a hard thing, especially like now doing what we do. Like, I feel like it's just such a hard thing to think about. What is the future going to be like?
I still think of that too. Like, there's
all the
times
time
where I'm like, what am I going to do when my times run up? Like, if I have children or something, like, am I still going to be doing this? Am I going to have to get a real job? And I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't know what I'd do because I don't really have a degree in anything. And I'm just like, am I going to be stuck working in retail for the rest of my life?
Yeah. That's something that I want to touch on later on. We'll finish this like little origin story bit, I guess. Yeah. So you meet Fitz on an Overwatch game. Fitz makes a video, you're in that video, and then you start doing well on YouTube. Well, like, you start getting a bit of like exposure on YouTube. And then, like, what is that process like? Because I know you have a partner. Like, was your partner supportive of you? You know, like, doubling down on this path.
Absolutely. He's been a very supportive person.
Awesome.
I still worked. I kept it as like my little side hobby.
Yeah.
At first, it was very overwhelming because all this new attention, you don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And you're still like trying to find yourself as a person.
Yeah.
It can be a bit daunting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And you meet so many people. Like, I met you and all the other misfits, and I've met a bunch of different other people through it.
Yeah, it is really cool in that respect. So like you said that you still had a job. How long was it that you kept that job up? I obviously, I remember.
Oh my gosh.
It felt like quite a while.
I kept it for years.
Yeah.
I actually didn't go full time until I moved to Canberra, so 2018. So I kept,
Wow.
I was doing YouTube and working for I want to say 2 years.
And was that something that you felt like you needed to do, or was it just like scary to give up on that sort of guarantee of income and things like that? Or do you know why you stuck with it for so long?
I wanted to just keep it as a hobby. I didn't want to make it my job yet. Because the scariness of obviously not having a steady income comes with it.
For sure.
I also didn't know how to make money on YouTube. I just uploaded it. I just uploaded it because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that is, it's fair. It's a very, taking it full time is pretty scary because like you said, it's so just no guarantees. And obviously there is always that fear in the back of your mind a little bit, especially in the early days of how long is this going to last and all that? Because you see all those other YouTubers, all the people that you watch growing up, and you think you're like, they're not still around. So how long is this going to work for me? Although I've actually realized kind of in future years, I've realized that that's almost not the case, and that a lot of the YouTubers that I did watch growing up either stopped doing it because they just didn't want to do it anymore, or they stopped, or they are actually still doing it, and I just stopped watching them and assumed that they stopped doing it.
I think also one of the crazy things of starting YouTube when I did is that I don't watch gaming content on YouTube at all. So I didn't know who anyone was.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to learn who people are because I don't watch gaming content, as weird as that sounds, because I make it.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. What do you watch on YouTube? Do you watch much YouTube in general?
No, not really.
Yeah. It is I used to watch loads of YouTube, but I find that I don't have the time to watch it much anymore. And also just it doesn't interest me as much as it used to.
Yeah. No, I just always played games instead of watching them, so.
Yeah. Okay, so when you decided to go full time, what did that feel like? Was that, it must have been a bit scary in a way, or do you feel like you felt pretty secure because you had already been doing it for so long?
I didn't feel financially secured. I think moving to Canberra and having that fresh start, I didn't want to look for another job, and I was like,
yep, that makes sense.
Maybe I'll just attempt doing, Twitch and YouTube full time.
Yep.
And I just kind of went with the flow. I'm lucky that I have a partner that also works, so I have that support behind me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do it alone.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I wanted to ask about. It must. Well, I was going to say, do you think you could have, done this without having the support of your partner? But even now, because you've obviously been doing it for quite a few years now, do you still feel like that having that support of your partner is such a quite a crucial part of you being able to do what you do?
I need it.
Yeah.
YouTube and Twitch together are such unexpected highs and lows.
Yeah.
And having to, with Twitch, having to rely on people's generosity to keep you afloat.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
And then YouTube having to, have the views and have the sponsors.
Yeah, because YouTube and Twitch as well, that they can be so inconsistent, and and you just, you might have 1 month where people aren't watching as much. Can you you mentioned obviously the highs and lows that come with it. Can you think of any specific highs or lows off the top of your head to do with this career?
I don't know how to talk about money in this industry without I don't know. I feel like it's such a touchy subject because a lot of people expect YouTubers and stuff to be really rich.
Yeah.
In some cases they can be. I had one really good year.
Yep.
It was my first time ever hitting 6 figures.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that was last year's financial year.
Oh, great.
And then this year has been tough, and I I don't really like to say numbers, but I can. This year I probably haven't even made like 25. So like 25,000. So like and that's with all my stuff combined.
Yeah.
So having my partner support as well is really crucial.
Yeah, for sure.
Because without him, I would have probably had to leave and actually look for a new job.
Yeah, that's really hard. And it is true. Like, so many people think that all YouTubers that have, you know, some form of success are millionaires. But the thing is, it's just like with any job, in that, like, the top performers in that job are going to be making a lot of money. But there's loads of people on YouTube that are making way below minimum wage, and there are, you know, a decent amount of people making, you know, 6 figures a year or something. But the people that are making that huge income that everyone seems to think YouTubers all make, those people are very few and far between.
Yeah, it's really hit and miss. But it was hard going from like being really comfortable to going back to struggling, especially when you are on like the lower view side and you're spending your money on editors or thumbnail artists, and you're not making the money back on your videos, so you're like going out of pocket for a bit to keep doing what you like doing.
Yeah, it is really hard. Like, at the end of the day, YouTube it's like running your own small business. And
it is. You've got to have like an ABN and everything. It technically is your business.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like you're just running a small business and hiring contractors like your thumbnail artists and your editors and stuff. And yeah, obviously there are hard months where you struggle to pay for those things, and it is scary. As with like running any business, it's a bit of a gamble, which I don't think like people outside of it really think too much about.
Yeah.
So, if like, do you have? You mentioned earlier that you do think about, you know, like the longevity of YouTube and things like that. Do you have like a time frame in mind that you would ideally like to keep it, you know, going?
Honestly, I think I would like to keep going until I'm literally over video games. Like that could be until like, I don't know, maybe I could be one of those cool grandmas that still make videos. I don't know. I don't think my love for gaming is going to stop anytime soon. So I think I'm just going to keep playing around until I'm over it. But there has been a few times that I have been demotivated and have wanted to leave because of the view drop.
Yeah.
But I always just find my passion again.
Yeah.
So it comes and goes, but it doesn't leave for long.
Yep.
I'm always inspired.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, when those views drop and stuff, it is so demotivating and scary.
Yeah, it is. Especially when it like comes out of nowhere, because that's kind of what happened to my channel.
Yeah.
And it upsets me a lot some of the times, but I just got to figure out what works for it now. So I used to average like 100K views a week on my videos.
Yeah.
And then just one random week, it just dropped.
That's so strange.
And I couldn't get it back up, and I'm not sure 100% what the cause was.
Yeah.
But I'm still trucking.
Yeah. I mean, it could have even been something like, you know, with COVID slowing down, people aren't spending as much time at home and things like that.
That's actually true. I didn't even take that into consideration. I just thought I did something wrong.
Yeah.
And I think
that's the thing.
That just plays with you.
Yeah, because with YouTube, a lot of the time, there isn't like a clear answer for what you're thinking. I mean, for like what's happening.
No, you got to figure it out yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And
the hardest part.
Yeah, and especially for someone that might be like, I feel like a lot of YouTubers are anxious people, in all honesty. And for someone that is an anxious person trying to figure out why people aren't watching their videos as much as they are, it's very easy to come up with reasons that, you know, could be completely false or, you know, demeaning of yourself and things like that. You just, it's hard. It's not like a normal job where you have that person there, like your boss or whatever, or you have like clear goals, and, you know, as long as you're achieving them, like, you know that you're doing right, you know?
Yeah.
You mentioned like your love of gaming, and that is something that I've always noticed with you, is that it definitely feels like you're in it because you have that like passion for gaming, which is really awesome to see. I know that a lot of people in this space, like even me included, have found that love for gaming is hard to maintain sometimes when you're doing it as a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you have you had much experience with like finding it hard to stay enjoying gaming?
No, but I switch games a lot, so that I feel like that kind of balances me out. Like I have my before I like get into it, a lot of people actually don't know this, but I used to play CS competitively.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day before I started making videos. I've been playing CS since 2006. Like it's been a part of my life, but I've always got like my full-on games and then I've got my chill games to kind of balance me out.
Yeah.
So I'm always like going through stages. Like I'd play a bunch of Counter-Strike and then my chill game would be like Maple Story or Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
And then I would have a big break off Counter-Strike and I was in Apex for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I played that super seriously.
Do you still play lots of games when you're not gaming? I mean, when you're not streaming or recording?
Yes, when I'm not recording, I'm either watching anime or literally playing games. That's all I do.
Yeah. That's really like wholesome. You're definitely in the right space.
Yeah, I play a lot of games offline with friends.
Yeah.
Not recording, not streaming, just in the moment.
Yeah. Something I used to struggle with was that feeling, like a feeling of guilt when I would play a game and not stream it or record it. Do you ever struggle with that?
Sometimes, but sometimes I really like to be in the moment. So if I get into like a session, say sometimes Swagger will invite me and I'm not really feeling up to recording. And I know that recording would be such a good idea for me because it would be good content to have.
Yeah.
But I limit myself and I just play.
Yeah. I think that's a really good mindset to have. I know that especially with streaming, like when I was doing, 10 to 12 hours a day when I was a complete degenerate. It just like, it felt, I still enjoyed playing games off stream and I always enjoyed playing games off stream, but I always felt like if I started playing, I was like, I should just be streaming this. And I also think that was partially like the downfall of my streaming career because
everything is work to you then.
Yeah, well, yeah, everything's work to me. And the other side of it is that everything becomes content. And it means that the content quality like loses its it loses its quality. So, where I might have only where I might have only streamed like Counter-Strike in the past with friends, I might now be streaming like, oh yeah, I'm just playing a racing game by myself. And the people that are wanting to see the the Counter-Strike funny moments or whatever are not likely to want to watch me just playing a racing game by myself. And I think that like me refusing to not try and capitalize on my gaming is like partially what made my my stream content specifically like lose a bit of its value.
Yeah. I think it's just important to have that time away from recording and making it work and just spending time with your friends. Because I've been in a situation where I was friends with a person and the only time that they ever wanted to talk to me was to record.
Yeah.
And that didn't work for me. I needed more than that.
Yeah.
And it fell apart.
Yeah, that's fair. That is really hard because it's very easy to view that as, oh, they only like me for my work sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty common thing with YouTubers especially. Okay. So earlier, like, we talked about like the vet nursing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you were to, let's say for some reason you decided that you didn't want to do YouTube anymore tomorrow, do you have any idea where you would look for work?
Or no idea.
Or look to progress?
No idea. I think I had this conversation with friends earlier because I obviously stress out about it sometimes because I'm like, I have no idea what the heck I'm going to do. And I think we're just like at that age and we really enjoy what we do as work, that they made some really good points. Like they would sometimes just like to, you know, have an easy job or a cute job, like working at a bakery or, you know, even just chill at Bunnings.
Yep.
Easy jobs instead of hardcore. Because like I don't really like have, like I said, I don't have a degree in anything. I like got my beauty shit when I was still in school, but I don't freaking remember any of that.
Yeah.
And I worked in a news agency all my life, so it's like, I don't know. I don't know anything besides a news agency. That's all I know. So I think a cute side job like that would be fun, as well as being able to do what I'm doing. But also, I don't know. Maybe I'll be a mum.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I know that like this is something I've actually been talking to my partner about a lot lately. Is since coming back to YouTube, because obviously I've been gone for a while since having the kid and stuff, and coming back to it has kind of been scary. I was gone. So like I was not coming back to YouTube was my plan. I was going to be either like a car salesperson because I love cars, or I was going to, you know, I've been doing my real estate course and I'm nearly finished with that. And like, I don't know where I'm at with all this stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But the worry that I have with continuing YouTube is just like investing more time into something that potentially, like, there's no like guarantee that it will last, you know?
Yeah, I don't think. Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, I don't think I would try to keep it a permanent job for the rest of my life. Yeah. I think I'll always have it around as a hobby. Like once my permanent side's done, it's a hobby time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and yeah, so like the question I've been having a lot with this stuff is just like, am I wasting time that I could be spending and like learning skills for my future career, or am I you know, investing all this time into something only to in a few years go and start that new career, and should I just be starting that now? And it's like a hard thing for me to think about at the moment, because I'm like I think I want to stay and I think I want to keep doing it, but it's like that matter of knowing, and obviously
it's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. And yeah, because you know, like I've got goals and I've got things that I want to achieve in life, and it's a matter of deciding whether or not YouTube is helping me reach those goals. Or at least adding enough value to my life that I am okay with the fact that it isn't helping me reach my goals. And I think for you, like, it seems like it does add a lot of value because you do just seem to love it. And the fact that you say that you would continue it as a hobby, even if it wasn't making you, you know, enough money to be your full-time profession anymore, shows that it's a lot more to you than just a job. And for a lot of YouTubers, it isn't.
I think that's why it affects me a lot when I'm not performing well, because like I want it so bad to like I want people to like it.
Yeah.
I want people to enjoy what I'm enjoying.
So you're editing your own videos at the moment, aren't you?
I've just started editing my own videos again, yes.
Okay. And how long has it been since you last edited your own videos?
I've kind of always done them. So even with my editor that I had for a little while, I think I had him for around a few months, at least half a year.
Yeah.
I would still cut up my footage for him and use what I wanted to use.
Yeah, that's
it wasn't
smart
until
way
the
of
last
doing it.
Yeah, it wasn't until like the last 2 weeks that I just started giving him the full footage and letting him go through it.
Yeah.
But as much as like editing is time consuming, I'm enjoying being back.
Yeah, I just started editing my own videos when I came back, and I actually did really enjoy the process. What I struggled with was the fact that my videos had taken such a quality dip because of it. Because I like never really edited my videos, which means I don't have any of that experience that the people around me do, and it just means that my videos, when I edit them myself are completely different to how I would like them to look. So I did end up like getting an editor.
It's hard to make something that you're visioning come to life. I find that with editing, and I found my editor did that very well.
Yeah.
But we also edited completely different, and I feel like the way that I edit now is just better for my channel.
Well, that's great. Do you think you'll continue? Do you think if you were making enough money to like comfortably pay for an editor, you would switch to having an editor again?
I don't know. I want to say yes, but also like it was a lot easier having an editor. I will say that. I had a lot more time to make more footage, like recording, and I had enough time for me time.
Yeah. So do you feel like you struggle with having enough time for me time at the moment?
No, I just have a trouble with focusing and sitting there and learning how to edit, or like getting my editing across, because editing takes hours.
It does.
And I was a person that would subtitle absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And that would take me 6 or more hours to subtitle.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to learn how to kind of focus less on the subtitling, because the subtitling doesn't exactly make the videos, and I thought it did.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just subtitle like little bits and bobs, like just subtitle the important bits, or just use it as a means.
I'm trying to do less.
Yeah. You can just use it to emphasize jokes and stuff, but totally, I get that it would be hard. I tried doing subtitling, and I used in Premiere you can get the AI to subtitle it for you.
Yeah, I've tried that a few times.
It's a bit of a mess.
It's good, but sometimes I like to do one-word subtitles, so it's not very accurate in that. And it's really nice that it fills everything out for you, but you have to go through and make changes anyway, because it makes a lot of mistakes.
Yep.
So you're just spending the same amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. How often are you uploading at the moment?
I try to do once a week.
Yeah.
But at the moment I'm doing it once every 2 weeks, because I'm trying to get back into the groove of it, and I haven't been recording much.
Do you have a strict upload day?
My Mondays.
Okay.
America's Sundays.
Yeah. You always upload on Mondays?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if you do miss a week, you still upload on Monday the next week?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So it's either usually the Sundays or the Mondays, but I try and stick to one day so people remember.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you ever been uploading more frequently than that? Like, were you ever uploading more than once a week?
No, I think I've always stuck around once a week, or once, like, as much as I could.
Yeah.
When I did have my editor, I was planning to do a video a week myself and have him do a video a week, and I was going to try and go for the double videos a week, but I never ended up doing that.
Yeah. That's something that, like, I've been toying with, is how many videos I want to do, because I feel like I have the time to potentially do, like, a couple recording sessions a week, and then make a couple videos a week. But then at the same time, I think like one video a week is still quite a lot of content, and like that's 52 videos a year.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty reasonable amount of content to be giving people, and maybe I shouldn't be wasting the time on making another video a week when I could be spending time with my son, or like learning skills for something else, or whatever. But I actually really like the idea of doing this sort of content more, and like giving people an insight into YouTubers' lives and stuff.
Yeah.
So you obviously have a like deep love for gaming, and I assume that maybe partly comes from a childhood filled with gaming. Is that fair to say?
Yes. So I am the youngest and only girl of the family.
Yeah.
I grew up with 2 older brothers, and they were into gaming, so I naturally wanted to do what my brothers were doing.
Do you remember what game was like your first exposure to gaming?
Medal of Honor.
Interesting.
Yes, I used to go to my uncle's house, and across the road was a LAN store.
Oh, yeah.
And we would go there and we would play Medal of Honor with the oldies there.
Oh, cute.
And then when we got our first computer, I'd go home and I'd go on TeamSpeak with my dad's friends and play Medal of Honor.
Wholesome.
And then Counter-Strike.
Yeah. So it was...
that's my first PC games, if that makes sense. Like, that's what got me into PC gaming.
Yeah. And were you playing console games before that, or...?
Not really. I was actually a very athletic, active child.
What sports did you play?
So I was house captain in my school.
Okay.
And I competed in...
What is that for someone who didn't go to that sort of school?
So every school has sports colors for sports day. So there's usually like 4 colors: green, purple, red, yellow.
It's like the school houses sort of thing.
Yeah, school houses. And I don't know if America does that, but basically I was sports captain for my color team, which covers the whole entire school in that color.
Yeah.
And then you compete in, long jump, high jump, races.
What was your favorite sport?
I loved running.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite length?
I did netball. Nah, not really.
I loved 400 meter and 100 meter. I liked the ones that I could do sprints in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I played a lot of netball.
Yep.
And I did martial arts as well because my dad was a martial arts instructor.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once I started getting into video gaming, everything else left the room.
Yeah. So, do you know how old you were when you first started playing Counter-Strike?
Roughly? Okay, so it was around 2006, so I was 10.
Wow. Okay, you've been playing Counter-Strike since you were 10?
11. 10, 11. Yep.
Wow.
I used to play on my dad's account all the time, and then he got fed up with me having friends on his account, so he bought me my first account in 2007, which is the one that I currently play on.
Oh, that's so wholesome. So, is that... Would you have been playing Source back then? I don't know how...
Yes, I played... Yes, I didn't play much 1.6. I played a little bit on my brother's account, but I was a Source girl. All I played was Combat Surf and mini games. That's all I played. I was obsessed with Combat Surf.
Yeah, that makes sense for, a younger person.
Yeah.
Did you play much competitive back then, or...?
Nope.
No.
I didn't even play, I think the most competitive thing that I probably played was Gun Game.
Yeah.
But, I didn't start playing ranked or 5v5s or anything until CSGO. But it even took me a hard time to transfer from CSS to CSGO.
Yeah. So, you said that you played competitive Counter-Strike at one point. When did that start?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I do not remember. Probably I want to say probably 2013, 2014.
Yeah. And
it was a while ago.
Was that just you had some friends online and you entered tournaments together, or how did that work?
Yeah, so they were women's competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a bunch of girls that also liked the game, and we would play in scrims and enter tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
That started making me hate playing. I think that's when the fun gets taken out of me, is when I start playing games competitively, I lose interest.
Interesting. Because I think that one of the times that I lost interest, where I started losing interest in Counter-Strike sometimes, I feel like it was maybe when I stopped taking it seriously. Although the thing is though, me taking it seriously was oh, I'm gold Nova 1. I was trash even when I took the game seriously. So it's obviously a bit different, probably not quite the same, but I do think partially that some of the reason why I lost interest in Counter-Strike was because I stopped actually trying to win and started just playing for fun, and ironically made me have less fun.
That's where I like it more. I try and care less about rank and stuff like that. I find that it's more enjoyable when I just let go.
Yeah. Although now I probably feel the same way as you, actually. But when I was younger, or at least maybe that was just me trying to find a reason for why I was losing interest in Counter-Strike, which could be very possible. Do you have any like games that were other than Counter-Strike that were like a big part of growing up and your love of gaming?
Mm-hmm. MapleStory.
Oh yeah.
I am still on that, and I've been on it since 2005.
Wow.
It's a very nostalgic game. It always makes me happy when I play. I come and go on that one as well.
Yeah. What did you think of MapleStory 2?
I actually liked it, but it lost me because every single character's storyline was exactly the same. So when I was remaking a new character, it was just
there's no reason to do it again. Yeah. That makes sense. MapleStory's it's an MMO, right? Kind of?
Yeah, it's a 2D side-scroller one.
Yeah, okay. Do you play any other MMOs? Or have you been interested in any? No?
I tried, like, when I was younger, I played, I think it was called, oh god, what was it called? Fly for Fun.
Never heard of it.
Played, I tried Black Desert Online, and
oh yeah, I like BDO.
I tried a bunch of ones.
I like BDO, but I only like it because of the character customizer. Like, BDO, you can make the best looking characters ever, and the graphics in that game are incredible, and the fact that it's an MMO is like crazy. And like the combat is so basic, but it makes you feel like you just look like you're doing crazy stuff. But yeah, I also lost interest in that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Was your whole family into gaming? Or was it just your brothers?
My dad played with us as well. My dad was very involved with whatever we did. Obviously my mum, she's a girly girl. She wasn't into that.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. Do you feel like gaming obviously is kind of notorious for having a bit of a toxic community? Like, do you feel that is something that is improving?
No.
No. Okay.
I feel like, in a sense, it's actually getting worse.
Interesting.
Yeah. I would like to say that I'm used to it because I have been, exposed to it since a very young age. But there are some times that I can't handle it.
Yeah.
And I have to leave. But I think I'm pretty good. But I think with like, I don't know. I feel like with the whole Andrew Tate thing, I don't know. I feel like it's just made it worse.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I don't necessarily think it's just his fault. I just think it's gone back.
Yep.
It's gone backwards.
Yeah. That kind of like largely like sexism and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people that are gamers are generally like they have more like lots of online friends, and I think it's a lot easier to find friends with similar weird values online than it is in person. So like in person, you might say something like sexist or something, and the people that are around you think that it's a bit fucked up. But online, you can always find someone that will agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think that like that kind of can breed that toxicity a bit and allow people to feel like it's okay. Speaking of that specific thing, I'm curious to hear your viewpoint on the like people that have social anxiety and things like that, and just like social struggles, I guess. A lot of them have found like Discord and gaming to be a great place for them to make friends and learn to communicate and stuff. How do you think like gaming helps and hinders in that respect? Because you've obviously got a lot of experience like making friends online and stuff like that.
Yeah. I have met some incredible, I think, lifetime friends on the internet. 100%. But I've also been on the other end where when you involve yourself in friendships that aren't educated or they try to act cool and say bad things.
Yeah.
You obviously try and fit in with that group. And I will be honest, when I was back in the day, like in the competitive scene, I did surround myself against just not great people.
Okay.
Which resulted me not being a great person.
Yeah.
I was a bully. I was mean. I did it for fun because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And then I met a girl and I hated her when I first met her because she was everything I wasn't.
Yeah.
She was nice. She cared about other people's feelings and stuff like that.
Yep.
And we eventually started becoming friends, and then I realized the shit that I was doing wasn't okay.
Yeah.
And it changed me. I stopped surrounding myself around those people. I surrounded myself around people that made me a better person.
Yeah.
And it sculpted me into who I am today.
Yeah, I think that's a really important part of life that people don't necessarily think about too much, is that you are kind of like a product of the people that you value. And you
get caught up.
Yeah, it's if
you do.
If the people that you spend all your time around are bullies or whatever, then it's only natural that you would become that. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy, like the amount of like life-changing value that one like good person in life can bring.
Yeah. And it wasn't just her, but also Richard. He also helped grounded me, and
yeah,
he pointed out things that I was doing wrong if I was in the wrong.
Yeah, that's a really, really valuable part of a good partner is that ability to, shine a light on the things in yourself that you might not see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like a really, really important thing. That's something Fitz and I have actually talked about a lot, and we've talked about on the Misfits podcast a bit, is that whole thing of like a good friend is someone that calls you out, not someone that is like an echo chamber for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find that with Discord and stuff, do you think that like online friendships have helped with like how you communicate with people? Like, do you think that you communicate with people in person the same way that you might communicate with them online?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I find that I'm a lot more confident behind the computer.
Yeah.
I'm a very closed off, shy person in person. And I get very anxious and my social battery dies fast.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, definitely more confident in person.
Yeah, that's fair. You have found a lot of friends through YouTube and gaming. What would you say to someone who might struggle with something like that? Like, I actually personally, I've always admired the fact that you seem to have a lot of people around you, and you seem to like be able to make a lot of friends, even like in the space. And I guess I'm just like wondering, like, how do you go about finding new people in the space and making friends?
Your people will come to you.
Yeah.
That's just it. Like, the right people will come into your life. That I've been in and out of friendships online. I find that it's actually very difficult to make friends in the industry. I think I started off for a really long time. I thought that it was really hard to make friends because you don't know people's intentions.
Yeah.
Especially when you are in this industry and you're doing what you're doing. You don't know if people are there to actually want to be your friend or if they want to be in a video.
Yeah.
So I've been in and out of a lot of friendships, and people probably know the friendships that I'm talking about. And it happens, but I don't know where I'm getting at.
No, I get you. Like I've had, I've definitely struggled in the past with not knowing people's intentions and wondering if people just want to be in a video. I've had friends in the past who I realized over time were just like trying to meet my friends and things like that.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Like I've had people reach out to me asking me to be involved in charity events or tournaments, and I'm like, hell yeah. And then the next thing is that they're asking me to get the Misfits involved or get Fits or... Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, all right, I see. Yeah. I'm just a stepping stone.
Yeah, that's awful. Someone that is willing to do something like that should not be in that position, should not have that job title. Because, one, like, it's going to make you as a person feel awful and not want to work with that person ever again, even if they get a different, person employed in that position, you're not going to want to work with that charity or whatever because of what how they made you feel in the past. It's just like, yeah, that's awful. Did you ever like? Don't take me saying this, by the way, as me saying this is what it was, but did you ever worry in the early days, like when you were playing with us, that these people aren't my friends, they just they're just using me because I'm content or anything like that? Like, did you ever have those struggles?
No, I didn't think that of my way. I thought it the other way. I thought maybe you guys thought that I would have been leeching and like because I feel I've never said this to you, but I've said this to other people, is that sometimes I feel like the fan base kind of pushed me into your group without you guys wanting me there.
Interesting.
Because when we first started, I think we met at PAX and we actually stayed together.
Yeah.
And I joined the meet and greet, even though I was just a little tiny fish at that point. And I felt like I didn't belong there, but I felt like I was pushed there.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I want to say that I kind of pulled away from the Misfits a bit because of that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want you guys, because I really liked you all and I didn't want you all thinking that I was using you for views or for content and stuff like that. So I figured out YouTube myself. I never asked anyone questions. I figured I did everything myself because I didn't want to reach out and ask.
Yeah. Isn't that isn't it interesting how that kind of worry of being for lack of a better word, like leechy or whatever, can mean that you like don't ask for help and stuff because you don't want to be perceived that way, when in reality we all probably would have been like totally happy to help and like wanting to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I can relate to that. I often struggle with like not necessarily the Misfits, but like the outside friend group of the Misfits. For a really long time, always felt like, oh yeah, like I only get invited to these sessions because I'm Fitz's friend. And yeah, that was something that like I struggled with for a while, and it meant that I would only join recording sessions if Fitz was there. And yeah, it like valuing yourself and finding, yeah, like where, I mean, just yeah, like it's like that internal like self-love before like getting love from others sort of thing, I guess.
It is. I think like obviously separating yourself from the situation, and then I would never reach out to play games because I didn't want them to see. And I was just always scared, and it wasn't until recently that I started reaching out more, and like they actually want to play with me, and I just thought it was in my head that they never wanted to play with me, so I just never reached out.
Yeah.
And I never knew because I never asked.
Yeah. Yeah, I can 100% relate. Just assuming that the reason I don't get invited to sessions is because people don't want to play with me. But yeah, that's not necessarily what it is at all. Yeah. That's very interesting. How did you find those early days of like figuring YouTube out? Because YouTube is such a weird thing where you actually do, it's not just, oh, I make a video and I upload it. There's so much more to it. Do you feel like you ever got to a point where you felt like confident with how you were doing things?
Yes, I was feeling confident in my CSGO and my Apex days. I loved doing those videos.
Yep.
And then I started Siege. And then I started COD. And then I started taking people's advice. And then that's when I lost all confidence. And that's when I felt like everything was going downhill for me. And I felt very lost because I didn't know what I was doing, what I wanted to do anymore.
Yeah. Have you... are you still feeling like that? Or do you feel like you've gotten over that a bit? Or...
I feel like I've gotten it over in some sense. I think right now with my channel, the way that it's performing now is that I'm just kind of doing what I'm enjoying. Yeah. I'm back into a lot of CS content. I think that's just going to get even bigger when CS2 comes out. I'm very excited. Yeah. And I'm wanting to explore more of Counter-Strike now instead of just ranked servers.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever go back to COD. Yeah. Apex is a love story for me. I love Apex, but it's just it's done.
Yeah.
It's done for me. It's gone.
Yeah.
But I loved thriving in that game because my Apex content was a lot different to my other content because I focus on funny moments, and then my Apex content was skill based.
Yeah, I always, like, whenever I found a game that I was good at, like, you know, there were periods where I was good at Apex and things like that. I always wanted to dabble in that different style of content, and and you obviously did with you, like, making some skill based Apex content. How would you say the feeling of trying different style of content is? Like,
it's scary. You don't know how it's going to perform.
Yeah.
Like moving to Siege from Counter-Strike, that was scary because it's similar concepts.
Yeah.
But the game style is so different.
Yeah.
But I found Siege was so much easier to record than Counter-Strike because I think we were talking about this the other day, is that when you're recording Counter-Strike sessions, sometimes it can take 5 hours to get a good 10-minute video.
Yeah.
Because you can't leave ranked.
Yeah.
But in Siege, if we weren't having good lobbies, I could just leave and try again.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of, you know, long sessions, I have found you the other day. We were playing Phasmophobia, and and I asked you guys about Rust, and you said that I should come and play Rust with you. And I asked, like, how long it takes for you guys to record a Rust video, and you said, you know, like, your friend was saying it could take, you know, 12,
took us days.
15 hours, multiple days of recording sessions.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm at a stage now. In my past, you know, I could have recorded like 12 hours of DayZ and like in one session and been happy with it, like, even if that didn't make a video. But now, having a baby and having a, like, fiance and stuff, I'm, like, trying to be efficient, I guess. And the what I know is that I can play like one recording session with like the Misfits, or like with Swagger and Fits and stuff. I can do one recording session of them in Counter-Strike and probably have enough footage for a video. It might be a little bit of a stretch, but I can probably have enough footage for a video, which makes me really, like, attracted to making more of that style of content, because I know that I can sit there for 3 to 4 hours and get a video out. And, like, that's, like, it's so efficient, and it makes me, like, a lot less likely to want to try that other content, because I know that it might be, like, a big time dump in order to get what, you know, is basically just 15 minutes for a video. And it's, like, I suppose with you kind of having that, like, passion and love for making content, that's probably less of a thing for you. But I guess now, like, I'm kind of viewing YouTube more like a job than I did in the past. And because of that, like, I'm trying to be efficient, I suppose.
Yeah. It's tough because the longer you play, the more energy just gets drained, and you're just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, and it feels awful when you're drained in a session.
Yeah, I'm actually editing the Rust footage now, and I had to go through 8 hours, and I got it to 40 minutes, and then I was trying to cut it down even more, and I've got it to 21.
Yeah.
But as I was doing it, I was like, this is my first and only Rust video I'm doing.
Yeah, that's fair. What is your process for going through, like, large chunks of footage? Like, for anyone at home that doesn't realize, the way that you have to go through footage, or at least the way that I go through footage, is I have to sit there and watch back the entire recording session and pick out the bits that are funny, which obviously, like, you know, it's not that bad. But if you have, like, 12 hours of footage, then you're going to be sitting there for 12 hours. Do you have, like, any, like, techniques or like, ways that you go through the footage a little more efficiently?
Yeah, so my CS vids, I try to keep around 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And I color code them so I know which separate videos are which.
Yeah.
So I spend around 4 days editing. I break it up because I don't have a very good attention span, and I procrastinate like a little bitch.
Yeah.
So I will spend 1 day rough cutting everything I want to use. Usually I skip to where I see my voice line, so I know if I laugh or if I'm saying something, I want to have it included. So I skip through to my voice lines and...
That's smart.
Yeah. It's just efficient. Yeah. And then I do my rough cuts, and then the next day I will watch the whole thing again and cut it up even more into my neat cuts.
Yep.
And then if I'm feeling risky that day or the next day, I start mapping my subtitling and I color code what I want to edit, like add memes or something in.
Yep.
And then the final day I will, or actually not even the final day, the same day or whatever, I'll fill in the subtitles. The final day I usually add the music and add the little memes, and then I render it.
Yep. What's your process for finding music? I find that really hard.
I suck at it. I hate it.
Yeah.
I use Epidemic Sounds.
Yep.
And it's just so hard because, you know, you start to compare yourself to other YouTubers a lot, and you watch their content. Like, for example, Fitz.
Yeah.
His background music slaps. It always
works. It's also the same every video, which makes me so jealous.
And you can't use it. Like, if you're a part of, like, if you're a friend or something like that, you feel like you can't use it because it's his.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's his signature thing. Like, everyone knows it. So then you have to, like, go out and find your own thing that works for you.
Yeah.
And it is so hard finding background music. I hate it.
It's so hard.
I suck at it. I feel like some of the times it doesn't even work. But I include it anyway because I don't know what a video would be like with nothing in it. I don't think you can do nothing.
Yeah. When it comes to editing, something that I've that I really enjoyed actually when I came back to YouTube was sort of obviously making like funny moments videos on YouTube kind of makes you a little bit reliant on other people.
Yes.
Because it's very hard to make content by yourself, funny moments content, especially because, well, you know, it's pretty hard to be funny by yourself. And being reliant on other people in order to do your job is really, like, it can be a frustrating place to be. And I found that when I was editing my own videos, it was like I would record a video, I would do a recording session, and then I would spend the rest of the week editing that video. And I liked that feeling where I always felt like no matter what, during the week, there is something that I can do for my work, and I will be being useful, I'll be being efficient, and that's good. Now that I have an editor, I find that there are lots of times where I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, like, I don't know what to do right now because there's no one. You
got so much time.
Yeah, there's no one I can record with at the moment. You know, everyone that I want to record with is busy, or they're, you know, doing their editing or something. And it's made me realize how much I am at the liberty of others with making my content, which is something that I really struggled with in the past, and a large reason why I stopped making content in general. A big reason why I stopped making content in the first place was because when Fitz left YouTube, like I said to you earlier, I used to view that people only recorded with me because I was Fitz's friend.
Yeah.
So when Fitz left YouTube, obviously Fitz wasn't inviting me to recording sessions anymore. And then that meant that I felt like, all right, how am I supposed to, you know, make videos anymore? Because I don't have people to record with. And, you know, I did have some people that I would play with a lot. Like I used to play with Buys a lot. But like, it's hard playing with, you know, the same one or two people every time. And just it made me realize that with YouTube, I really don't want to be at the liberty of others for all of my content. And that's partially...
You know, yeah.
So, sorry. I'll just quickly finish and then I'll let you talk. I know I've spoken a lot. It's partially why I've decided to do something like this like interview sort of style content, is because it's something that all I need to rely on is one person once a week or whenever it is. And I don't have to worry about getting, you know, a group of 5 together every time that I want to record, and it puts me less at the liberty of others. Because it's so hard being at the liberty of others. I mean, you don't necessarily have to talk about it, but like, how do you feel about getting content alone? Have you ever tried to make like solo videos?
I have. I think I need to become more confident in doing it because I would like to do it more. It's hard relying on people. And I find that I do that a lot. I'm very codependent. Is that the word?
Yeah.
I find that I love and attach myself to people too much.
Yeah.
And I played with a girl who I adored for a really long time, and I became very reliant on her for content.
Yeah.
If we didn't record, I didn't record.
That was me with Fitz really as well.
Yeah. But also another downside is that whenever I was with her, we were very flirty, and my channel became less funny moments and more sexual, provocative content.
Yeah.
And I think that's where my side kind of started to fall down, because my audience wasn't about that. And I didn't understand, because every time I was with her, I got excited and I had too much fun and I was blindsided.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to, because obviously you have friends that aren't necessarily good content creators, but that doesn't mean that you don't love the time that you play with them.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people that I used to play with in the past that, they weren't necessarily that funny, but I loved playing with them. And because of that, I would make videos with them. And those videos just didn't work as well as the videos where I actually was playing with people who, know how to formulate jokes and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, almost bring it back to what I was saying before. Like it's hard to, be playing games with people and having a really good time with it and then not make it into content, because to you, like, oh, it was so fun. It was so funny to me. But that doesn't necessarily mean it will be funny to like your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be hard.
I think that was hard to swallow. And then seeing someone that you surround yourself around so much kind of like part from you in a way, and then they have new friends. Yeah. New people to make content with, and you're just like, okay, what do I do now? Yep. And you're stuck. Like I was stuck for a while. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to play with anymore. I didn't I was just in a bad space where I didn't know what content I wanted to make. So I think one of the biggest goals for me is learning how to do things by myself, so I'm not stuck on other people again. Yeah. Because that it's just not good.
Yeah, that's a major goal for me too, for the same reasons.
Yeah. And then also you want like people to recognize you as you. Yep. And because I know for a really long time, you probably would have had the same, is that everyone would have been like, Fitz. Yep. And it took me a while to escape from that. Yeah. Yeah. I've always been someone's second, and I've never been someone's like, hey, play with Bordie kind of thing. I've never been that person. Yeah. To other people. I get what you're saying. I will say that I have definitely in the past had multiple people request I play with you. Just, if that makes you feel a little better. Oh, thank you. but I have definitely. But I used to play a lot. Yeah. I can completely relate to what you're saying. Yeah. Like, and I obviously still feel it now. Like, you obviously, like, you may have, I don't know if you've looked at my recent videos or not, but I am still a sucker for putting Fitz in the title and thumbnail. And obviously, but like, you guys have been friends for a million years. Yeah, we've been friends since high school. You've got that behind you, which is great. And I'm pretty sure Fitz is like okay with me doing that. But obviously, like you said, the downside of that is, I never know if people are actually watching my videos because they like want to watch me, or if they're just like, oh, cool, another way for me to watch Fitz. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I don't put names in my titles. I used to every now and then, but then I didn't want people to feel like I was using them and stuff, so I stopped it altogether, and I was just like, I want people to watch my videos for me and not who's in it. Yeah. Like, I'll still put, like, I've put Swagger in my thumbnails, but I try to keep his name out of it. Even though people tell me to do it, I'm just like, I can't. Yeah, that's something I probably need to get to, really. Or at least not doing it, like, every video. I mean, people do it all the time, though. Like, I see some of my friends, they still bait each other. Like, yeah, it works. Yeah, it definitely works. I guess my problem is, like, I want to know that people are watching me for me. And one of the things that I've realized with my content is if you don't know who I am, you could watch my video and have no idea which voice I am. Mm-hmm. And realizing that has made me think, man, that's definitely something that I need to work on,
because like someone could watch a few of my videos and think I was Fitz, you know? Like they don't know. If they don't know anything about the group, then they could very easily watch one of my videos and just assume that I was one of the other people that is in all the other videos. And obviously not having a webcam now like makes that even worse. So I want to make sure that with my new content, I still like I have a voice, and it's making me like consider like introducing things like a spoken intro and stuff to each video, so that people kind of get the vibe that like my channel actually does have a personality, and my channel isn't just like it's not just content, it's a person. Like I guess like I want people to see the person behind the channel, which I know is an ironic thing to say, saying that I just got rid of my webcam.
Yeah, no, I get it there.
Have you ever do you use camera? You don't use a webcam in your videos, eh?
I have before, so I've trialed it, but I tend to like to keep my face off YouTube.
Yeah.
And with Twitch, I go through stages.
Yeah. I obviously had a camera for a long time. I'm going to be quite vulnerable here and admit that the reason I had a camera was because I wanted to be famous. I used a camera on my videos because I was like, well, if I'm going to be like a big YouTuber, I want people to know who I am. Like I want people to come and take photos with me and stuff like that. And obviously, you know, all my friends they don't use webcams and they still get, you know, people coming and take photos of them and stuff. But I like growing up, it's like pretty like weird, and probably you know, some sort of a psychiatrist could probably look at me and tell me some crazy stuff about myself. But like growing up, I wanted to be a celebrity and I wanted to be like a famous actor or something, because it always looked like such a cool life and things like that. And I don't feel that same way anymore. But I guess it's because I've had like my little taste of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, that was why I used a webcam, and now like not having it is kind of like a little bit freeing, in that like I don't have to worry about how I look when I'm recording, and I can just like sit there, relax, and have fun with it, you know? But yeah, Twitch is different with webcams, obviously, because people kind of expect it.
I didn't even want to do a face reveal. I wanted to be one of those people that hid my face, but I was talked into it because no one would work with you unless you had a face.
Interesting.
The sponsors, back then.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
And I wanted sponsors. I was like, I want deals. Like this is like with Twitch and stuff.
Yeah.
So I showed my face.
Yep.
It didn't really go well at the start. I remember someone made a face reveal Misfits video on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that was when I first started showing my face, and man, the comments were so brutal. I don't think my partner has ever seen me so like down before. I didn't talk for like 2 days.
Jeez, yeah.
I went into a rabbit hole, but I came out of it, and then I started face camming a bit more on Twitch, and lately I've been kind of taking a break. Yesterday was the first day in like a month or so that I face cammed, because I felt so much better without it.
Yeah, that's good. I know that you dabbled with VTubing, right?
I did, and I still kind of want to.
Yeah. So for anyone listening that doesn't know what that is, it's basically like, it's kind of like a camera. Like you have your camera on, but they can't. Like the camera isn't being used to show what you look like. Instead, the camera is being used to like track your facial expressions and put that on a like
character,
like a cartoon, like an anime character or something. Yeah. It's like a nice way to like still have that personality and that you know, see the facial features and stuff and the facial expressions without having to actually use your cam. Speaking of like toxicity and comments and stuff. How like obviously comments on YouTube, it's one of the few jobs in the world where everything you do gets critiqued and you get to see all the critiques. What is like have you got any ways of dealing with all the like negative comments that you might receive every now and again, or things like?
Nope.
No, you just read them.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I really try and stay. If it depends what platform I'm on.
Yeah.
For YouTube, a while I started staying out of the comments for a little while. I'm back in them now, and I'm trying to reply to everyone.
Yeah, I'm doing that too. I want my audience
TikTok?
to have a community, you know?
TikTok, I avoid comments. I will not look at them. They
fair.
are the most brutal people ever.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I suppose for a lot of people that is obviously their technique for dealing with it is just to like not look at them. It is like for anyone that has never experienced YouTube on a like semi-large scale, it is brutal. Because literally everything you do is critiqued by someone. And the thing that's really hard about it is if someone wants to tell you a video was good, they'll probably say, great video, or I enjoyed this video, or like, thanks for making this, or something like that. If someone wants to critique your video, they'll tell you every single thing that they thought was wrong with it. So like, the good things are not people telling you what was good. They're just them saying something very vague. And the bad things are people telling you everything that was wrong with it. And that means that obviously it's really hard to not take it into account. You know, you could have 1,500 good comments and one bad one, but that does not mean that you won't completely like listen to and wonder if it's true about the bad one, you know? And obviously, like, sometimes bad comments are useful for like helping you learn, but sometimes they are just straight up just mean.
Yeah. And as someone that compares myself a lot to people, I have a very low self-confidence. So there could be like 100 positive and 1 negative, and I'll focus on the negative, and it's really bad.
Yeah.
But I try and see a therapist. So
like comparing yourself to others is such a big thing with YouTubers, I feel, especially because like, again, it's one of the only jobs in the world where you can actively look at how you compare to all of your friends, all of your colleagues, all of the other people in your space. You can see every single time you upload something, how it compares to the upload of your best friend or whatever. And like, that is such a hard thing to separate from. How do you feel? Like, do you feel that you used to compare yourself more, or do you think you still do it? Or how do you feel with that?
I'm trying to care less. So I think I'm definitely a lot better than I was, but a lot of the time, like me and my girlfriend, we would upload the same stuff. This is when my stuff started plummeting.
Yeah.
But hers was still successful, even though we were doing the same content.
Yeah, that's got to be hard.
And I was like, why?
Yeah.
And my only thing was, it's me.
Yeah, that's hard.
So it was really hard to kind of, I don't know, be okay with it. Because I struggled. I was just like, why is she doing good and I'm not? It's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely experienced that same thing. I mean, obviously, like, a lot of my videos are very similar to what Fitz or Swagger or, you know, any of the friends that I'm playing with are making. They're very similar because they're cut from the same content.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I upload something, you know, maybe in the past it would have got like 50,000 views and Fitz's one might get 2 million, you know? And it's very hard not to look at that and question it. But I think unfortunately, like with YouTube, that like some comparison can be healthy and can cause you to, you know, look at ways to improve your stuff and things like that. But a lot of it can just be so toxic on yourself, and it's hard to break away from. With Twitch comments are a different kettle of fish as well, because like Twitch messages, you're looking at them right away. Like someone is reacting to something in the moment and saying something negative to you, and you also know that person is right there and that you can respond to what they've just said. Do you find yourself responding to like negative comments on Twitch, or do you try to ignore them?
I try to ignore them, but also my wonderful moderators, who are also my great friends, they know the struggles that I struggle with. So whenever they see it, they try and remove it before I can even see it.
Yeah.
When I do see it, it depends how I'm feeling on the day. If I'm feeling very vulnerable, I might take it to heart.
Yep.
If I'm feeling like confident, I will bite back.
Yeah. I used to I got to a point where I would fight with people so much about stuff. Just because obviously like being trans online, you know, especially on somewhere like Twitch where people can just say whatever they like to you, you're gonna have like a lot of dumb people. And the amount of times I would get people coming in like just like preaching Bible verses and stuff at me was like it was hard not to, you know, it was hard not to fight back.
Yeah.
But it's interesting the thing of you know, like I feel like people don't necessarily think about the fact that content creators are just obviously normal people going through normal lives and experiencing the same things as you. And like there are just days where something really small can set you off, and there are, you know, other times where I might be able to see like, you know, 50 hate comments in a row and just be like, haha, that's so funny. But then there are other days where I see one really minimal one and it like really affects me, you know? And it's obviously just like, that's just how people are, and people need to see that content creators are just like people too.
Yeah.
An interesting thing that like I've noticed earlier, I can't remember what it was you were referencing, but you were talking about how something like most of the time you can brush it off, but every now and again like it hits you. And like something that I've noticed from my life where that applies is that I have like for a long time said like, oh yeah, I don't care like what people, you know, call me like pronoun wise, like it doesn't bother me, like call me whatever you like, it's okay, because I know that like if you get it wrong, I know that you're not trying to be mean, you know?
Yeah.
But then there are just some days where like, you know, maybe I'll be out at dinner and a waiter will go, what can I get you, sir? And it's like that tiny little thing where I'm like,
yeah,
you know, like this person means nothing to me, but like, why did you have to say that, you know? Yeah, it's just, it's so interesting how sometimes something that doesn't affect you just does.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a bit about like mental health. Do you feel like, I feel like personally that YouTube and Twitch and stuff, it has become a little bit like more common for people to talk about mental health online, and it's become like less, I guess, taboo, and people judge people less for talking about it. Do you think that this is like, that's like a good thing, and have you like noticed that as well?
I do think it's a good thing, but I also think that there's limits, because I know a while ago a friend of mine was struggling quite bad.
Yeah.
And their thoughts was, oh, I'm going to do a therapy session on Twitch. Like,
interesting.
And you guys can watch my therapy session.
With a real therapist?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a thing for a while. Like, streamers did it. And
I remember there was a Twitch streamer who like was a therapist, and he would go through and have these sessions with people. Yeah.
I think talking about mental health is good, but I think personal therapist sessions, especially things that you really need to talk about, should be private.
Yeah.
I'm a very open person, and I will talk about my struggles sometimes with my chat or with the people on the internet.
Yep.
But I struggle with some deep shit, and I think that you really need to, I don't think you're going to be completely honest with a therapist if you have an audience watching.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think there's a lot of stuff that you aren't going to reveal when you're in front of an audience, even if it's subliminal, you know?
Yeah, but with the whole industry, I think my mental health is at its all-time low since doing this full-time. I think doing YouTube and Twitch and stuff has been the downfall of my mental health.
Yeah.
But I have people around me to help, and I see a therapist when I need to try and sort things out.
Yeah.
And those problems are my problems and no one else's.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think, obviously, like, you know, you've mentioned that you see a therapist when you need it. How do you think like people view therapy? Do you think that people have a positive relationship with therapy as a whole?
I think people view it the same way that they view medication. I think they view it as a failure, or that they failed themselves. Yeah. And I talk about my struggles. I've tried a lot of different antidepressants to help with my anxiety. I've gone to therapy, you name it. I've tried almost everything.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about it with people. I'm open about it. I'm not going to be embarrassed. And, there has been times where I've thought I failed because I had to rely on medication.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. Like, medication can really, really, really help you.
Yeah.
It can. It might not work for everyone, and you might have to go through a few to try it. I've tried, I think, 3 or 4 different ones. None of them have worked. So now I'm trying therapy. Like, there's different ways to cope. And sometimes you just have to trial and error, which is hard. It really is, because medication puts your body through a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I brought that up was because obviously, like, in the past, like, you look at like old movies and stuff and old TV shows, and like back then, therapy was seen as like, oh, the really crazy people, they go and see a therapist, and like, if you're seeing a therapist, it means you're really crazy. And I feel like, it is slowly transitioning into less of that and more of like people actually accepting, it's, you can go to therapy and not be crazy, and that, most people can benefit from therapy. But I do still feel like there's a lot of people that view therapy as, like you said, some sort of failure, or like, I couldn't handle this myself, so like it's my own problem, and I, like, why can't I handle this myself? But I just think it's like important to talk about it and be like, hey, there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist, and even the most healthy people can still benefit from, talking through their struggles with people.
Even the smallest shit. You don't have to have heavy baggage to see a therapist. The smallest shit as well. Like, for example, I recently just went to Melbourne for an Apex tournament. And I was meeting a lot of online people, and I was really anxious about meeting all these online people. So I went to my therapist, and I was like, hey, I'm fucking scared. Help me. And she talked me through it. She talked about why I was scared, what was worrying me, what I was concerned about meeting these people. And she even texted me while I was there asking if I was doing okay.
So wholesome.
Yeah, so it's like, it's nice, like, even just small shit like that. Like, even if, I don't know, you're at school and you're struggling with work, they can help you with coping mechanisms, and it's really good.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is that, like, this is something I talk about a lot, is that like, most people can't see where they have struggles or flaws, and it's really nice to like talk through something with someone, like outside of what you're, outside of your life, and realize where things you're saying, you might be like a little bit embarrassed by the fact that you're saying it, and go, oh man, like in my head this sounds so true, but saying it out loud to someone that's not part of my life, I feel embarrassed by it. And it makes you realize things that, like, how your thoughts can be like not at all what you are meaning from them. I guess I feel like I'm blumbering my words here a bit, but
no, I get what you mean though. It's good to have an outsider's like perspective.
Yeah.
Type of word. That isn't going to judge you.
Yeah.
And that's going to generally help you.
Yeah. So let's would you have any advice for someone who is trying to get into YouTube, or like that maybe they've started YouTube and like they're struggling a bit with it, like mental health wise, they're struggling with anxiety from it and things like that. Would you have any advice for someone who wanted to keep going with it? They wanted to do the things that you've been able to achieve, but they're like really struggling.
Surround yourself around people that generally make it fun and happy.
Yeah.
And people that will support you through your ups and downs 100%.
Yeah.
And take time for yourself. If you don't feel like uploading that week or editing and you just need your me time, take it.
Yeah. A lot of people...
I think that's what's helped me a lot, is that I've tried to put myself first instead of my work first now. And it's hard because you want to succeed, but you need time for yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise you're just going to drown.
Yeah. I mean, if there's no you, there's no work, So you need to make sure that you can actually show up.
I'm still learning and I'm still struggling with those things, but just I think your time is just the most important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really important actually. Like it's a good point, that thing of like taking your own me time, because everyone on YouTube, like coming back to YouTube, I watched a bunch of videos about like how to do YouTube, and I watched a bunch of stuff and read a bunch of books about it and stuff, and they all talk about how consistency is so important, and how you got to make sure that you're like, frequently uploading, and got to make sure you're always upping your quality and all this stuff, and that is true to an extent, but at the end of the day, like, you are the YouTuber, and without you, you're not really going to get anywhere. So it's important to make sure that you are valuing your time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also find things that make you happy that's like separate from what you're doing as work. I've been trying to find hobbies lately.
Yeah. So something I wanted to ask you about was, do you find that working from home makes it hard to make real life friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've actually, like, even just doing what I do for a job and trying to make friends, it's hard finding people with similar interests. I even used Bumble BFF to try and find people.
Yeah.
I got really lucky with how I met my first friends in Canberra. So
that's good. I find, as someone who doesn't drink, which I think you don't drink either, do you?
No.
Yeah. So as someone who like doesn't drink and works from home, it means, you're not going to bars, and you're not going to work. So if you do want to find friends in real life, you kind of have to make sure you're like putting yourself out there, and hobbies. This is why I brought it up, because you mentioned hobbies. Hobbies are like the best way to do that, obviously. I recently moved to Perth with my fiance, because that's where her family is, and it makes it easier for us when, with our baby. And moving to Perth, I have no friends here, and all my like online friends live in Melbourne, or you live in Canberra, and they all live in different places. So I very rarely actually like spend time with other people other than like my fiance. And it's not that bad, but it can be like,
it's very isolating.
Yeah, it can be isolating, and like not having someone to like just go and spend an hour with or something.
Yeah.
Like I met these people on a car cruise, because that's like one of my hobbies. I was like, all right, I need to make some friends, so I'm going to put myself out there and try and go on a car cruise. And I met some people, and it's like I'm like slowly building that up, but it's something that throughout my whole career as an online creator, that I just felt like making friends was so hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What's the dynamic like with your partner? Like with you being a YouTuber, like do you find that you get enough time, to spend time with them, and do they help you with YouTube things, or is the YouTube stuff all on you? Like, does your partner take much of a role in the YouTube stuff?
Yeah, so when I wasn't editing my videos, no, but every time that I've edited my own content, I've always shown him the video and asked him if there's anything that I can add or improve.
Yep.
So he's helped me in that aspect, which has been fantastic, because he has some great ideas that I can add.
Yep.
The whole time concept thing, I think that's why our relationship works really well. So we met through CSS a really long time ago. So with both of us, showing interest in games, it's nice that we both have our own space. So he has his own room, I have my own room, and we do our own thing. We both still play video games. We have our separate friends. But we also have that me time. We go to bed together.
Yep.
Sometimes if he's not staying up. But we always make time for each other, but it's also really nice that we have our own separate time.
Yeah.
And that's what makes everything work.
Yeah. So does he play a lot of games?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we're both home and he's not at work or whatever, he'll either be doing that or programming. He's a little freak.
A little freak. Do you find, like, would you say that gaming is your, like, switch off? Like, if you want to relax and switch off, is gaming where you go to? Or do you watch Netflix or whatever?
It depends what you mean by switch off. Like, if I'm dealing with anxiety or if I just want to, like, relax.
Just, like, relaxing, I guess,
Relaxing. Yeah, gaming, watching anime.
Yeah. So do you find, you don't find that, like, with your job and one of the things that you do to relax being the same thing, you don't find that they get intertwined at all?
No, because I involve the people that make me happy.
Yeah.
And that
great.
I wouldn't use in recording. So I have, like, my recording friends, and then I have friends that don't do what I do, but love to play games.
Yeah.
So,
what do you, as far as the gaming scene at the moment, like, how do you feel? I know a lot of people have complained that it feels like all the games that have been coming out lately are pretty stale and half-baked. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with those sentiments?
Yeah, but I'm also one of those people that I get addicted to a game and it's hard for me to even introduce myself to new games.
Fair. That's a great place to be.
I'm still playing Counter-Strike.
It's a great place to be as a YouTuber.
Yeah, I'm lucky, so I don't, like, rely on any new games or anything like that.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to make a game?
No.
No, you've never even thought about it?
No, don't have any interest in it.
Okay, yeah.
My partner does, not me though.
Yeah, okay. With Counter-Strike 2 coming out, that's, I mean, I don't know if you know, that's kind of a large part of the reason why I came back. Fitz came back.
Yeah,
Counter-Strike 2
part of the reason
back.
why I'm doing CS content again too.
Yeah. What are you excited for in Counter-Strike 2? And are there, like, things that you are hoping to see in Counter-Strike 2? Because you've played so much Counter-Strike over your lifetime. I'm sure you must have some opinions or whatever.
I am excited to see. I reckon that the community player base is just going to skyrocket. I think there's going to be a lot of people coming into CS, new or old.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about that. People get to get introduced to a game that's been a part of my life for such a long time.
Yep.
Please stop calling me a Valorant girl. But also I think because it's going on the Source engine, which means that I feel like it's going to be a lot alike CSS in a sense where community servers are going to be huge. I think workshop maps will pop off on them. Yep.
There's a lot of really cool workshop maps at the moment. I'm keen to see what happens with them in the
100%.
New game.
Workshop maps, community servers are going to pop off again. I hope that they start implementing more Counter-Strike skins. I'd like to see more variety, especially in the women aspect, please.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because like the only women skins that they have, I think they've only got 3.
Okay.
So I'd like to see more.
Yeah. More representation.
Yeah, 100%. What else can I expect? I think I'm really excited for the new map updates and like the smokes. I don't know if you got to play on CS2.
No, I haven't played on it at all yet.
Okay, I played a little bit.
Yep.
It's a lot more vibrant and the skins are a lot more shiny, and it's nice because the sun glare is a thing now.
Yeah, the graphics look nice from what I have, the little amount that I've seen.
So nice. And the new updates with grenades and everything are great. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Awesome. What are your, like, do you have any goals? Are you someone that sets goals?
I don't really have any goals. I'm just excited to explore it and meet a lot of new people that enjoy Counter-Strike.
Yeah, that's fair. You mentioned earlier about, you were talking about whether or not, like how long you wanted to do this and what would, maybe make you stop or slow down with what you're doing. And one of the things you mentioned was becoming a mum. Is that something that you think about, like, how would you say you think about, kids often or much?
At the moment, I think my biological clock's being like, hey, bitch, wake up.
Yeah,
but but I've been off and on the idea of children. I'm scared. I think everyone's scared. I don't think anyone will ever be ready.
Yeah, I agree.
I had, for a while, I was like, I don't think I'd be a good mom. I like my me time too much. I like playing video games too much. But then I see people around me that have children and they're still doing what I enjoy doing. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can do it then. Like, maybe it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I think the thought of having children and them growing up and then I get to show them what I love and then hopefully they love it as well.
Yeah,
and then I get to share that.
That's an exciting part is thinking of all the ways that you can, you know, it's basically like share like learning all of your loves and interests again because you're learning them through the eyes of someone that's never seen them before.
Yeah. I think the idea of kids is scary, but I think I'll still do what I'm doing now, even if I have children.
Yeah.
Which has made the idea of having children easier for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that I could do that. I thought I'd have to give it all up. And
yeah.
I know.
They're definitely time consuming.
Yeah.
Especially when they're young. Like, I obviously don't know what it's going to be like, when he's older, but I assume once my son's a little more independent, there'll be a little more flexibility with time. But they do definitely, like, once you have a kid, it does control your life quite a bit. But the thing is, it makes you evaluate what's important to you and the things that are important to you. And then you just discuss that stuff with your partner or whoever's helping you, and you figure out ways to make those important things still happen. And that's like kind of like what I was saying earlier. Like I'm trying to be efficient with YouTube so that I can, allow my partner time to do the things that she wants to value, and that's the thing that's like the hardest thing to balance is both of us wanting to do different things and both of us wanting to have the same amount of time, but there's only, a finite amount of time in the week, and you do have to spend a lot of your time just looking after the kid, especially when like he's as young as Emmett is. Emmett's 7 months, so like he's crawling now, and that requires basically like constant attention,
supervision.
And so like that definitely like restricts what you can do during the day. And obviously, like, the thing is with a kid as well is you can feel like you're just wasting a lot of time because you're spending a lot of time watching them and just being with them. And obviously that's like really nice, and it's not necessarily time wasted if you're spending it with them, but like it can also feel like, yeah, I could just sit here for like hours and watch this kid and not actually achieve anything with my day. And it's definitely like about figuring out your balances and stuff. It's pretty it's pretty crazy. But I think if you did have a kid, you would love it. I think if you didn't have a kid, you would still love whatever you do, and I whatever.
Yeah, we're kind of just like, whatever happens, and if it doesn't, that's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with me, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about while you were on here?
We could probably talk about how sometimes the people you play with, like, you drift away, but you always kind of like, because I think having friends in this industry, especially people that you play content with a lot, everyone also finds a new game that they're into, and you kind of drift apart.
Yeah.
In a way, I think me and you, we didn't talk for like 2 years because we just started doing different things. And I'd have people ask me, and they're like, "Hey, you still friends?" And I'm like, "Yeah, nothing's changed. We just like different stuff now."
Yeah, exactly.
And now we're back together. And
it is funny, isn't it? Yeah, you can just like, obviously, like in life, people drift away from their friends, but especially with this like content creator stuff, because a lot of the friend time was also the work time. And if the work time now needs to be spent somewhere else, then there might be less friend time. It is interesting, and you do just kind of like drift apart and come back.
Drift apart, you always come back, yeah.
Yeah. But I suppose that's like an important thing actually to tell people is like, hey, just because X, Y, or Z is not in the videos anymore, it doesn't mean that like there's anything wrong or that they're not friends. It's literally just they're not on the videos anymore. And especially with like something like Counter-Strike, you know, like with Counter-Strike, there's 5 people in a session, you know?
Yeah.
And I have a lot more than 5 friends. So obviously...
Wow, you're so popular.
So obviously, you know, not every session is going to involve every person. So like I'll see comments and stuff of people being like, why is this person not in the videos? And I'm like, well, I've made 3 videos since coming back. So, you know, they might be in the videos at some point. They're just not there right now.
Yeah.
Have you, like, are there any other sorts of content that you would want to try? Or, like, are there any sorts of content you've considered trying in the past?
I have actually, but that was from me taking advice from other people and instead of listening to myself. I think I went through a rabbit hole where I was just taking everyone's advice except my own.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was told to, like, try reaction content and stuff like that because that's what has been popping off lately.
Yeah.
And I did give it a hard consider, but then I was just like, that's just not the shit that I'm into. Like, I'm not going to have fun. A lot of women that you see on TikTok that are reacting to content or text-to-speech stuff, majority of it's scripted.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just like, I don't think I can sit there and script something.
Yeah.
Like, I've never done that. Never in our CS sessions have ever scripted something. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's something that I can start doing.
Yeah. So...
And I was just like, nah.
So it's mostly been you looking at what other people have suggested?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of, like, I've thought about trying a lot of different things. And I have tried some other things. But yeah, gaming is like... The thing about the gaming content is, like, it's not even necessarily gaming content. It's people making jokes while playing games.
Yeah.
And like just having fun while playing games, and like the gaming backdrop is there and it like helps people relate to it, but in reality it's the content has nothing to do with the game like most of the time. Obviously there are some times where the content is to do with the game, and but I've just realized that like I'm not necessarily making gaming content, I'm making content that happens to involve gaming. And like that's been nice to kind of think about because I don't necessarily have that same like love for gaming that some people and maybe like you have. And I have that love in like other fields, like and there are definitely like other sorts of content that I've thought about making, and like I'd love to make a channel that talks about watches. Like I want to educate like young people on watches.
That's cute.
I really like watches, and like I want people to understand like why some watches are so expensive and things like that. And like I've wanted to make that sort of stuff, but it's also hard considering making things that deviate from the things that make you money. When this is your job. It's like even like doing this sort of thing. Obviously, I have no idea how something like this might perform. Like people might have no interest in this. And I know that people will watch the funny moments stuff. So like, obviously it's easy to fall into that trap of like, oh, I'll just keep making the funny moment stuff because it's what people like. And have you ever like found that you are making things because it's what people like, or do you think you've always had a bit of
no, I have gone down that hole. I think I did that a little bit with Siege and COD.
Yeah.
And Apex, even Apex, like I lost interest in Apex, but people liked it, so I kept doing it. It was easy content.
Yeah.
I'm good at the game. Like a 10-kill game, I'm done.
Yep.
The video.
Yeah. And there is something to be said about the fact that, like, you know, because this is your job, you know, sometimes it's maybe worth doing something that you don't enjoy as much that's just easy because it gets it done, you know? As long as, like, people are still remembering, like, why they enjoy doing what they're doing and, you know, still making time to do what they actually want to do with it. Because I feel like a lot of content creators do fall into a trap with that stuff where they're basically just working a full-time job, like a normal full-time job. You know, they're doing stuff that they don't enjoy and making content that they don't enjoy because it's what pays the bills, and because of that, they're like doing a job that people dream of doing, but aren't doing it in a way that they enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's like, I could see that being really hard, but I can also completely like relate to why someone might do it. Because, you know, if one thing gets you 100,000 views and another thing gets you 20,000 views, then the thing that gets you 100,000 views is going to look a lot more appealing to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thought this went great.
Yeah, I had fun.
I don't have any like further things to talk about, but yeah, if you have anything you want to bring up, feel free. But yeah, otherwise, I think this is a nice place to end it.
Yeah, no, I think we covered a lot of stuff. I think the most important stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming. I hope you had a good time.
Me. I did.
Good. All right. Yeah, I will talk to you next time we play games.
Okay, thank you.
See ya.
Bye.